mean, I think from a scientific perspective, they're always like looking at the analytics of how things go and how things run. Tell me how you could put analytics on love and support. My son is here because of all the trials that they did 40 years ago, right? And now with all this new things, I mean, that's going to be a thing in the past with all this CAR T development. And I mean, it's really a very, very exciting time on the front for many of us, and especially as a parent. But I'll be honest with you, the most traumatizing thing, and I think with Nick, he hit it on the head, was the needles, the blood draws, the lumbar punctures, like all this stuff. Like that wasn't necessarily these kids, it's not what meds they have to take. Yeah, there's the side effects of that, but it's knowing that they stress out like from 1 week to the next. As soon as they get out of that appointment, they're like, oh my God, I have to get a needle next week, right? So certain things like with Emla cream or this like numbing lidocaine cream, like, and things like that you learn, like, oh, put it on an hour before, you feel nothing. Then all of a sudden port access is nothing. Like the port changed our lives because it wasn't always, it was just the access. It wasn't necessarily worrying about collapsing the veins or in the hands, and again, it depends on each child, but it's the protocols. Like there's certain things about the protocols, we know that they shift one trial to the next, but the implementation of how that is, whether it's a pill form or liquid form, or I think all those things really, really make a difference. And I think a lot of times they're forgotten about. It's like all the emotional stuff that comes along with that, right? That I think is the bigger, and I think why we all have our programs of support and love. I mean, I think from a scientific perspective, they're always like looking at the analytics of how things go and how things run. Tell me how you could put analytics on love and support.
Yeah.
But you talk about the patients. You talk about the love. You talk about the making sure you keep people within a retention or within. When I think about retention, I think about here's something, and I'm afraid that it might leave me, right? Instead of, hey, here's something, like I want to make sure that it wants to be involved and wants to stay, and they're part of this whole process. And I think when you start to look at that and you really start to match up what you're saying, to understand it's not all about analytics. And I think everyone, you need to know that it's that love and support. What we're doing for our warriors is allowing them to be receptive to your trials, because we're providing that love and support that they need and is 100% essential.